Namaste. Welcome to another edition of Navimash podcast. So today we have with us Mr. Aditya Pittie, who is the author of this book. You can see Viksit Bharat at 2047. So today we are going to discuss with him, uh, talk about the book that he has written, and we will also get to know him also personally as well, like what he does and how he came about writing this book. So namaste.
Namaskar, Bhupendra ji. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here today with you.
Thank you, sir. It's also a pleasure for us to actually talk to you and discuss this very important book for the this generation and also for the next generation. So we are, and thank you again for you for writing this book. This book actually, I read through the almost half of the book, and this actually given me a clear idea. Correct? When PM Modi talks about Viksit Bharat, correct? And we see all the media articles, media stories, but we do not get the details. We do not get the philosophy behind this philosophy behind the scheme, correct? Philosophy behind this perspective on why Viksit Bharat and why PM Modi has taken this gigantic initiative to actually realize that Bharat can be a developed country by 2047. From the humble beginnings of 1947, we where we had like around 20% literacy to now today at a 90 plus percent literacy, economic growth, and a lot of other things. Infrastructure has been built by PM Modi. So it has been a long journey, and we have a long way to go. So Mr. Pitti, first of all, thank you for joining again. And we will start with the very pertinent question. What prompted you? What inspired you to write this book? And you mentioned in the book as well that PM Modi has been an inspiration for you. So if you could give us an overview of why you wrote this book and the role played by PM Modi on this initiative.
Right. Thank you, Bhupendra ji. There are a few reasons that motivated me to write this book. One was, I wanted to bring it out to the public that what does Honorable Prime Minister mean when he talks about Viksit Bharat? So, in a sense, it is to unbundle this term, Viksit Bharat, explain what this is about. You also come from a corporate background. So, for me, this term used by Honorable Prime Minister is like a vision and mission statement for the country. Like corporates have vision and mission statement, I felt that this was a vision and mission statement for the country. So it's really important for every citizen to understand, align, and get behind this vision so that we can achieve this mission in some sense. The other thing, Bhupendra ji, is that today we are in a world full of biased narratives, especially if you see mainstream media. There are too many biases. There is a lot of polarization, and also everybody has opinions. You can have an opinion, I can have an opinion, but I felt it's important to tell a story with data. Numbers don't lie. So can we tell a story of where Bharat is at today, fair assessment where we are today, and from here how will we extrapolate to our targets of 2047. So, in the book, my reference citation section is 40 pages long, showing you where all this data has come from, how I've triangulated the data. I always use one quotation, by the quality guru called W. Edwards Deming, which says, "In God we trust, rest must bring data." So, nobody can challenge that. In my own, so this was I wanted to bring forth this story to all citizens in Bharat about where we are and how important this target is. For me personally, my entire inspiration has been Honorable Prime Minister, because I think once he took charge of the country in 2014, there has been a sea change. Again, opinions can differ, but the data shows what tremendous progress India has made since 2014 across all sectors. In fact, I would say, Bhupendra ji, we don't even need to see data. If we live and work in India, you can just roam around, see what's happening, see the scale of infrastructure, all the developments that have happened. So one can see for themselves. And his dedication of Honorable Prime Minister, seeing how much focus, energy, full dedication has been given to the nation, has inspired me also to come step forward and do something for the nation. In fact, in the book, I keep emphasizing that Viksit Bharat is a collective goal. So every citizen must come do something little bit for nation building. And in this same way, this is kind of my contribution for nation building, inspired by Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this overview. Uh, I would have one more question to you. See, you mentioned, correct, in corporate, I am also in corporate, so there are vision and goal statements, what we want to do, how much we want to achieve. And you also mentioned, correct, like enlarge goals, where very important in terms of when we do work on corporates, that you should try target more than what you could achieve, because only then you will be stretch yourself and do something more or realize more potential that you have in you. So you also talk about that stretch goal. When I was reading the book, that stretch goal is very important to actually achieve what you want to achieve in life. So in that context, PM Narendra Modi, he's a kind of a I will call it silent operator. He does a lot of things, but never tells. But when we observe my life, correct, I don't carry cash anymore. Okay, I use UPI. Okay, I use Vande Bharat to travel to Bengaluru to meet my friends. Now that is the sea change which has happened in terms of railway station. I can tell you, when you mentioned that, correct, you don't have to look at the data to actually know what transformation PM Modi has done on his leadership and his cabinet together to actually make Bharat a better living place for everybody, from giving houses, toilet, um, gas to women, helping women, giving cash transfer to farmers to help in their farming. So there has been a sea change in terms of lives of rural people who have been benefited largely and significantly by government schemes, and also we have seen infrastructure in cities increase drastically. I was traveling to on railway station, Chennai railway station. I was traveling to, and I can see there is a lounge where common people are able to go and get a massage. Even I would not think that in a railway station there would be a lounge where a common people can pay 50 rupees and get a massage and get their tiredness fixed. So that is something incredible development which has happened across the sectors, across the populace demographics, from rural people to middle tier one, tier two cities and to metro cities. So this really has been, as you mentioned, people just need to observe rather than being taking into their own political points of view and other things that may have. Just look objectively how India has transformed since 2020, 2014, and where we are today as the world's third largest. Almost we are going to become a third largest economy in a few months. So this has been a real achievement. So I'll come back to the next question that I have for you. So also that you mentioned in the book itself, the mathematics behind $30 trillion economy. So as you mentioned, correct, the reference page is 40 pages long. So if you could enlighten us, our audience, how the calculation you have made that makes India a $30 trillion economy in coming years.
Right. Bhupendraji, this is a very interesting section in the book. The my idea was, people talk these large numbers, but for the average audience, one must try to show it in a simplified manner, right? Me as an author, my job is not to complicate or overcomplicate things, is to try and simplify it. They say the best, kind of learning you can impart is simplifying things. So, I just want to give the audience a simple explanation. Today, India is the fourth largest economy in the world. Our GDP today is estimated to be about $4.3 trillion, all in US dollars, dollar terms. Now, when I say that, what I am projecting by 2047, India will cross $30 trillion. And at that point, factoring our population, etc., we will have a per capita income in excess of 18,000 US dollars. In this, I'll just take a side note, Bhupendra ji, that I want to also explain that, Viksit Bharat, the literal translation is developed India. Now, any country is classified as a developed country. The classification definitions come from World Bank or International Monetary Fund, IMF. These are all largely only economic indicators. So today, approximately if the per capita income of a country is in excess of 15,000 US dollars, you're classified as a developed country. So I'm just giving that framework. Within that framework, what we are saying, what I'm saying is by 2047, we will cross all these economic metrics to be classified as a developed country. Now, what is the math? From 4.3 trillion, we have to get to 30 trillion plus in 22 years. This shows that we need a compounded annual growth rate of 9.2%. So just for the average audience again, this means you have to grow 9.2% year on year, every year. Or in another way, some years if you've grown at a faster rate, next year if it's slightly lower, as long as the average is 9.2%. In this, again, I will just give a small, note in economics in a sense that this is called nominal growth rate. Nominal growth rate also includes inflation. What is the inflation in your country? So when you deduct inflation from the nominal growth rate, you get what is called real growth rate. Just to give you an idea, today India's real growth rate, the numbers announced just about 2 weeks ago is 7.8%. So we are the fastest major growing economy in the world. We are growing at 7.8%, which was the data from the quarter one of this financial year called FY25. So on top of this, when I add inflation rate, which in India again is very low today, will give you the nominal growth rate. So despite so much global uncertainty, geopolitics, lot of headwinds, as they say, we are already crossing the required target growth rate. So this is another point I want to give the audience, just to show you that even in this difficult time, we are crossing this growth rate. Now, in another way, Bhupendra ji, I have shown in that section of mathematics that there is something called rule of 72. This is an interesting thing for everybody to understand because say you're an investor, you invest in stock market. I mean, say you invest in mutual funds. Now, what happens if you divide the number 72 by the return, say your mutual fund is giving you? For example, Bhupendra ji, if your mutual funds are giving you return of 12%, when you do 72 divided by 12, it equals 6. So this tells you very simply that in 6 years, your money will double. It's a very simple math. Similarly, I have also tried to show in an easy way that, how many doublings will it require? So from 4 to about 30 plus will be into 8. That means 3 times doubling. 2 into 2 into 2 equals 8. So even with this simple sort of a calculation, I'm trying to show that how we will get to these targets. The final point, I won't overcomplicate, but the final point is that, the required growth rate is very achievable, realistic, and doable. I give the final analogy of a T20 cricket match. So what I'm trying to say is that like a T20 cricket match, the required run rate to win the match is very reasonable, doable. There is nothing, big problem with that. It is not like we require 20, 30 runs and over to win the match. So this is how I've tried to show, what is this in this section, mathematics of the $30 trillion economy.
Yeah, I think I also learned a few things today, and thank you for this. Okay, and also very simple explanation. I think the audience will be able to understand it. And for the audience, if you want to understand more of it, you should go and buy this book. Okay, it's really a fascinating book. It has a lot of data. You might not like the data, but the initial pages where you see the vision that he describes of PM Modi and how it is achieved, and also you will know, as Mr. Pittie was saying, that we don't have to look at the data to actually see the progress India Bharat has made over these from 2014 onwards. So he actually lists down all the schemes. I was surprised to know that I did not know about 90% of the things got done by the government. So that itself shows you that okay, we have to be more aware of what's happening around us, and also read the book to understand the vision of PM Modi of Viksit Bharat and the kind of tireless efforts his cabinet and himself as the leader has made. There are so many schemes which are here which I was not know about, and people might not know about who would be hearing from me. So you will get to know all these schemes and how they are actually a gear one step into creating Viksit Bharat in 2047. So from our end as well. Hmm,
Bhupendraji, here I'd like to just add one comment.
hmm,
Certain
hmm,
things that you mentioned I found very
hmm,
interesting. Go
hmm,
see.
hmm.
I always say, the eyes see what the mind is ready to comprehend. So if you have a closed mind, you'll see something good, but you won't appreciate it. You mentioned all these fantastic railway stations that are being built in India. I am not joking. I keep telling people, be positive about the country and have an open mind. And have pride in our country. Now, presently, I'm sitting in the US. I'm here on a visit. I'm telling you, US is a developed country. There's no doubt about it. But if you see the infrastructure, it's crumbling. You see the railways, the airports, the airlines, it's no match for our country. Even their banking here, checks take 4 days to clear. You have no idea. You can't do such seamless digital transactions like we do through our UPI. So I to say, many things in India today are not only world class, I say they are the best in the world. Very proudly I say this. And in fact, when I meet people, when I'm traveling abroad, I am now in great pride and confidence tell them ki come and see what's happening in Bharat, learn from us. And lot of things y'all are doing here, we are doing much better than many countries in the developed Western world. So, it's very important to have this pride and an open mind to see and appreciate what we are doing.
Absolutely, sir. So if you like if you are sick, even a very good food or very appetizing food might not entice you to eat it. So your mind is very important to actually comprehend, understand, and absorb something that you are seeing in front of your eyes. So I will just talk about a little bit more about the PM Modi's vision and also his cabinet. Okay. So as you also write about in the book as well. So I have, from my experience, what I've done research while doing this podcast. So correct, I have heard correct. People know Mr. Sanjay Sanyal. Okay, he's a board of the one of the chief economic advisors. So and he mentions incremental process change as a kind of an engine where India Bharat is opening up, fixing things which have been done there for almost 70 years. So this theory, this perspective of philosophy of incremental process change as a driver engine of growth within the economic framework, and also role played by the cabinet ministers, Mr. Ashwani Vaishnav and other important ministers who are heading those ministries and implementing the vision of PM Modi on the ground.
No, so you want me to just explain this entire thing?
Uh, no, not
So,
explain it. But I want to say like you mentioned in the book as well that the role played by the cabinet, okay, and also the prominent ministers like Mr. Suresh Prabhu, Ashnavi Vaishnav, also role played by the Niti Ayog and especially Mr. Sanjay Sanyal, that they are the like lieutenants who are working on ground to implement the dream of Mr. PM Modi.
kind of my observation of all of this, Bhupendra ji, again, because I come from a corporate business background, I like to look at it with that lens and that point of view, and it helps me see that in that framework. So the way I see it and what I have studied, it's a very corporate style of functioning. So the Honorable Prime Minister, like any leader of any large organization, is setting very clear, ambitious goals. But what the difference from earlier days, why I say progress has been rapid since 2014, because earlier we had this concept of 5-year plans. You made these plans, everything was looked at in a 5-year time frame. And even if you reach towards the end of the 5-year plan and targets haven't been met, there is not much you can do, and it would get rolled over into the next 5-year plan. Today, just like any lean corporate organization, very target and goal driven organization, Honorable Prime Minister is setting goals. But what the difference today is that, there is a regular monitoring of these. There is a regular monitoring where we have reached, what are the roadblocks. If there are roadblocks, how do you eliminate the roadblocks? Can we speed up? There's a lot of, essentially a lot of focus on execution, Bhupendraji. So you can set anything, but if you're not executing, you won't reach anywhere. So very strong execution focus, goal minded, focused work is happening, and also in a very collaborative manner. The top team, like you mentioned, the cabinet ministers, they're all extremely brilliant, focused, hardworking people. And it's a very, very excellent team, and a team that is working very closely and collaboratively together. So earlier, work used to happen in silos. Today, say, railway ministry has to execute a project, and it involves some collaboration with Ministry of Road Transport Highways. There would be very good collaboration to ensure that all these things are done. So nothing is getting hampered. So by regular monitoring, you ensure that the targets are achieved. I'll give you a small example, Bhupendraji. In the book, I had mentioned that, say in green energy, which is renewable energy, India had set a target of 500 gigawatts of green energy by 2030. You'll be surprised to know that we achieved this nearly 2 months ago. India achieved this target 5 years before the target date. So it's showing you the pace at which work is happening in India. And it's not now that nothing further. There will be a further stretch target set. And now, all work and execution will get aligned to achieve a target far greater than 500 gigawatts. So this is showing you the speed scale and how, this focused manner of working is driving huge results in India.
Yeah. So I'm going
I'll
to.
also, sorry, Bhupendraji, I'll also mention two things that because you mentioned the word process, changes. Uh, I'll just try to tell you that once Honorable Prime Minister took charge in 2014, the idea was to first tackle the big, structural reforms and structural issues, which were with things like GST, Good Service Tax, insolvency, banking code. Lot of these big structural issues in India, which were holding back our development and progress, were first tackled. So largely today, these big things have been resolved. Yes, we are continuously, improving upon them. Next generation reforms are coming. As you are aware, just few days ago, Honorable Prime Minister announced, the next generation of GST reforms. You can call him GST 2.0. And how the GST rates have been slashed to only a 5% bracket, 18% bracket. Most, for the common consumer and citizen, GST has been reduced practically 10% on all major things that they consume, which is going to really boost consumption, boost more money in disposable income in their hands, and give a huge boost to the economy overall. So this is also happening. And what process reforms means that many of our rules, regulations were very complicated in India. They were complicated a lot of times by design. So things used to be very bureaucratic, lot of red tape. difficulty in doing business. Now, with an idea of boosting ease of doing business, making life simpler, easier for the citizen as well as the business person, there are groups, teams of people, including what you mentioned, Sanjeev Sanyal ji and the Economic Advisory Council to Prime Minister, who's looking into this very deeply and seeing how a lot of these rules, regulations, acts can be rationalized, simplified, untangle the complication, boost ease of doing business. We have also done something called the Jan Vishwas Act, which was brought in to boost ease of doing business and also to reduce unnecessary criminal liability and prosecution for an honest businessman, because most of our acts and rules also have that beyond a fine you can file criminal charges against promoters and owners of businesses, which is really not a good way. It complicates things, it demotivates people. So the idea is also to avoid this criminality so that people can, do their work honestly and have much higher ease of doing business.
Yes. So on that segue, it's a very good segue that we have taken. I would like to just maybe discuss for 5 minutes. We have seen, correct? I have mentioned, you have mentioned, you've written a book on the Viksit Bharat program, and how much work has done into realizing this dream from 2014 onwards. We have seen the 2024 election, which happened, where the BJP suffered a setback in terms of their goals. So, what do you think, like government should do to make sure that whatever good has been done over the these 10 years by the PM's cabinet, was there a gap in terms of communicating this to the voting voters who would have voted for different parties? And because I'm asking this question for one reason, not because we want to make it a political, but as I had mentioned and as you have mentioned, that PM Modi's this specific goal, a very large goal of making Bharat a Viksit Bharat by 2047, requires everybody's effort, your effort, my effort, to actually help him to realize this goal and play our role in that. So, in that context, would you like to maybe give some suggestions that how the communication could have been better to make sure that the PM was empowered more to actually do these more reforms at a faster rate to realize this dream faster?
Bhupendraji, not, I really cannot comment much on this, but my observation over the years has been, you need to trust Honorable Prime Minister. Kind of, he knows what he's doing, what needs to be done, when. Over the years, I've realized that, things always work out under his, strong leadership and his immense capability. So nowadays, I'm very relaxed. It's like those t-shirts you see, keep calm. So I would literally say, keep calm, trust Modi ji is at least what I feel. So I think things will happen. They understand and are forward looking to understand what needs to be done at what time. As far as elections go, these are all normal, things in elections. You win more seats, you win less seats. But in the end, the leadership continuity has remained in the country even after 2024. And in fact, you'll see that numbers really don't matter. It is the will and resolute leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, where you're seeing also, I think we are all seeing as citizens that in the last 1 year, there has been a major boost in reforms, activities, new initiatives. So I don't think really, at the end of the day, these numbers really matter. Policy continuity remains. In fact, leadership continuity remains. So I think these are all normal things. I always tell people that Honorable Prime, it's like, is not only playing 2D chess, he's, with his capability, he's able to play possibly 3D chess, in three dimensions. And I think we're in fact all lucky that we have him as our leader. And like I mentioned, I'm repeating, but I'm quite relaxed and calm with him in the chair.
Yeah, just one more question and then we'll go to our next section. So, do you think enough ground level reforms have been done to actually make life of a common citizen much, much easier? So, like trains, UPI are very good, but there are still, I think, a lot of like small reforms which might make the life of a common person, like we were seeing like bridges, some infrastructure projects which are not doing well, some bridges were collapsing, and there were also issues of corruption at the lower level, like GST. Correct? We have in all that in social media where the GST people who want to get the JC numbers, they are not being getting that in time, and they are asked to pay bribes as well. So those are the like speculations which happen in social media. So do you think enough reforms have been implemented at the ground level to see change in front of their eyes, rather than see we are looking at the broad level reform in the economy, like the code of insolvency, and that doesn't really impact the common person, right? So these are broad level reforms which are macro reforms, but have we done enough micro reforms to actually impact the common citizen?
Bhupendraji, this is a very good question. Like I mentioned earlier, and you also spoke about, today the government is looking very deeply into process reforms. So, like I said, this is all the complications in day-to-day rules, regulations, acts, which impact the common people. So, the idea is to slowly, clean that out. So, this impact will is already being seen and will be seeing more and more for the common man. The one other point here is that, I hear many times about all this GST, this happened, that happened. So, nobody's denying that there is some what I call retail level corruption in India. Earlier it was all pervasive. Today, as you also know, at higher levels, all that, there is no corruption. We haven't seen anything really. At the retail level, many things happen, but these are all localized issues. That is not something really in the purview of, the central government. One other thing I would like to point out is that people, in fact, I've tried to explain in the book also that citizens should be more aware of not only their rights, their duties, but also overall structure of government. A lot of times I see and I'm amused, there is a pothole in your neighborhood and people are tagging the Honorable Prime Minister. Now it's good to do that. The social media is empowering and one must be active. But I say, direct this activity in the right direction and the right, to get results. So people forget that we have the constitutional framework provides for a multi-tiered, kind of structure of government. So
Administration, administration.
so there is a many responsibilities that are at city level, the corporation level, they are at the state government level, and then at the central government level. Also, constitution gives states certain topics or subjects are state matters, not central government matters. For example, health, even policing is a state government issue. In that, central government can't really interfere. So, a lot of these challenges we are seeing today, or even I would say regional imbalances or disparities in growth development, is due to this issue. Ultimately, we, with the fruits of a lovely, vibrant democracy like we have in India, there are also challenges, right? We cannot have this autocratic, kind of rule like in China, where you can just mandate and dictate things and they will happen. We also have the democracy, here. So that provides huge benefits and it's, undoubtedly the best way to function. But it also then, leads to delays because sometimes the state governments are not aligned. Delays are at their level or at a city level. So this is where, unfortunately, the common man, common citizen does suffer, on certain issues. But like I say, one must get focused on where the roadblock or problem lies. Focus your energy on that and try to get it resolved, through the right channel. People also, honestly, Bhupendraji, I encourage them, please try and meet, who your local corporator is, MLA is, MP is, understand, have kind of a contact with their offices, understand what each person is responsible for, and how he can help you. And that is a very good way to empower citizens to understand government, not only always to complain or fight with these people. The idea is also how can you, again, with that spirit of achieving Viksit Bharat and doing nation building, you should try and see how you can actively engage with these elected representatives, or your own elected representatives. They are all wanting to do good work. A lot of times there are too many things or going on, but engage with them actively, I would say, not only to resolve problems, to try and see how you can help them, give them suggestions, work with them to improve things in your local area.
Yeah, I think it's a very important message that you've given. Correct. So we have a historical problem. When we became independent in 1947, the government said, "I will do everything for you." And from that onwards, what happened is in our constitution, we have our rights, we have our responsibilities. So unfortunately, we know about our rights, but unfortunately, we do not exercise our also responsibilities that we have towards the state itself, towards the nation itself. So, and that is something which is through, I think, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. That was a very good initiative taken by Mr. PM Modi to actually give little bit of responsibility back to the community itself. That keeping clean, keeping neat and clean a place that you live on is also your responsibility. Previously, in my opinion, there was a kind of a sense of I would say, a a sense of entitlement that everything will be done by the government, and I have no responsibilities, and I only have rights which I should demand from the governments, whichever governments they are. So, in that context, is like people like us, or people like you, can we play an important role in uh, getting people inspired to actually take ownership of the issue that we have and work towards it, even if it's difficult, because as you mentioned, there is a retail level corruption which is difficult to remove or eliminate, but we can reduce it via process reforms.
See, Bhupendraji, this is something I'm very passionate about, and I honestly believe that every citizen can play a very important role. So I'll say two main points. One is that to achieve our target of this developed Bharat, Viksit Bharat by 2047, we'll need the collective, participation and active kind of involvement of all citizens to do something for nation building. You gave a very nice example of Swachh Bharat, which is perfectly fits in this framework. Honorable Prime Minister says that even smallest of efforts have a compounding effect. Now, with 140 crore population, there is a challenge, but there's a huge, asset for us as well. I always like to say that, if each of us takes one step forward, the nation collectively is taking 140 crores steps forward. So, Swachh Bharat, just by you keeping the area around your home, office, workplace, wherever you travel clean, you see some garbage lying on the road, some piece of paper, plastic, you pick it up. And Honorable Prime Minister has shown this by doing himself as well. We see it in numerous times. This is all Swachh Bharat is nation building. I say that we all live in, big cities in India. Traffic is such a big chaos. It's very easy to keep blaming traffic police or the corporation. Yes, whatever their role responsibility is, they will do. If we need to push them, we must push them. But I'm saying, why do you need who tells you to jump the red light? Who tells you to come from the wrong side, drive from the wrong side of the road? If we just start following rules and regulations like this, just follow traffic rules, that is nation building. Imagine how fantastic our cities will become if everyone was following, these traffic rules. Like I mentioned, I'm presently in the United States of America for a visit. I was observing we had a few road trips I needed to do just over the last 2 days. Here, there is a concept on the large highways, which they call interstate. There is one lane which is the fast lane, where they call it HOV, high occupancy vehicle. What this means is if you're in the car, there are two or more people, you can use that dedicated lane, and the person who's driving alone in a car can't come on the lane. Now, I have observed so often that there is a huge traffic jam on the entire highway. This lane, HOV lane, is free, but not one single person. There is no police. This is a interstate highways connecting cities. There is no police inside, but no one is jumping into that lane if he's only driving by himself. So till we also need to inculcate this self-discipline, and this kind of sense of responsibility. And this all will have a collective compounding effect for us. And yes, the citizens who want to do more, I encourage them, get involved more actively. Government of India is really open about this. Honorable Prime Minister repeatedly in many of his public speeches says that, we want 100,000 youth to join the government and administration. We want people, they've started what's called lateral entry. Professionals can apply to come and work in the government, in certain ministries as per their experience and expertise. So there are so many opportunities for the citizens. Like I said, where there is a problem, complain, but do it properly, actively, get it resolved. But aside from that, work with the government and administration in a collaborative manner with your local elected representative in a collaborative manner. And I feel that if we all start doing small things or big things, in fact, this 2047 goal, maybe we can achieve much faster than we have planned.
Yes, indeed. The way the global economy is moving towards, and where we have the local currency trading is happening, probably will be happening with China as well as with other free trade agreements nation that we have signed. I think we could see rupee uh, getting stronger over the years, and in that way, in the dollar terms, actually, we will be like achieving this goal at a much faster rate, maybe before 2047, if you do the calculations. So we now will make a segue to our next question. Uh, you mentioned, correct, the inspiration that you garnered from Mr. our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So, in your opinion, what drove Mr. PM Modi to actually do this? Because we have never seen these long-term plans, these ambitious plans to actually make Bharat a better living place and make lives of Bharatiyas better. Okay, so like how do you decode why PM Modi has taken this ginormous task to actually make Bharat a Viksit Bharat by 2047?
Really very difficult for me to comment, Bhupendra ji, but all I can say is, he is an extraordinary person and a person with a deep mission mindset. I see that very rarely, but you can kind of see some people who are goal oriented and some people who are just mission oriented. I feel that he's extraordinary and a person with this kind of mission and all energies and full commitment is there to achieve this mission of making Bharat a developed nation, not only Viksit Bharat, but to really put us in our, I think, rightful place in global leadership. As you know, people think that India was a poor country and is now trying to achieve these things. I also like to give them a historical context that we must not forget that from the first century CE, Common Era, as it's called, till I think practically the 17th century, Bharat was one of the greatest nations in the world, and controlling nearly 25% of global GDP. We were, it was called Sone ki Chidiya. And today, what we are doing, we were impoverished due to, colonial rule. A lot of estimates by historians say that Bharat nearly lost $45 trillion to the British. And we were in a very poor and bad condition in 1947. So the achievements we have made to come where we are today as the fourth largest economy in the world, and we will soon become the third largest economy. What is estimated is 2027 when we will cross Germany. But now, Honorable Finance Minister has said that even this goal we will possibly reach before time, possibly next year. So I keep telling people, and especially my friends living abroad, that this is nothing new for India. We are just regaining our glory and regaining our rightful place in global leadership. So I think he's on this mission to put us in our rightful place while also, unlocking our cultural pride and making us once again aware of our heritage and ancient culture. As they say, vikas bhi, virasat bhi. So he's like that. And I think, Honorable Prime Minister has shown his deep, development and execution capabilities in his role as Chief Minister of Gujarat. We have seen what development happened there. I think his model was fine-tuned because of his vast, leadership and administrative experience. And we are fortunate that these are now being applied at a national scale in his role as Prime Minister. And I have no doubt that, whatever these dates and goal targets we have set, we are more or less going to achieve everything well before time.
Yeah, that's really important, and I think you have explained it quite well. Okay, we will not be able to give exact answers, but we try to decode it as much as possible. So now we are going to move into the like primary focus of the book. Okay, where we have the chapters. So we have. So I wanted to talk about specifically on Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, where Bharat is trying to manufacture goods and other high-end products as well in Bharat itself. So, in your opinion, to achieve Viksit Bharat 2047, how much role is going to be played in future role played by Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, and also manufacturing and technology as sectors, and how important they are to realize the dream that we all have for Bharat?
Right. So this is a good question, Bhupendra ji. In fact, most of the sectors will play an important role and will be the pillars for Viksit Bharat. But today, Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliance is become tremendously important from a strategic point of view. One is from an economic point of view, but today this is being highlighted and it is extremely important from becoming self-reliant from the present geopolitical climate from a strategic point of view. As you're realizing, more and more countries globally are looking inwards and looking to do things that are in their self-interest. Similarly, we will have to become self-reliant and in major things. Now, Atmanirbhar Bharat is based in manufacturing, so that is Make in India. In that, there was this thing called PLI, Production Linked Incentives, launched by the government, which has been tremendously successful to boost manufacturing capability in many key areas. One example I can give you is mobile phone manufacturing. Even 5 years ago, India was not manufacturing any mobile phones in our country. Today, we are the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer. This is a huge achievement in a short span of time. So things like this show the success of PLI schemes and Make in India. The other one example I can give is in defense equipment. India was always an importer of defense equipment, and today with the strong push of Make in India, we are manufacturing most of the key defense equipment in the country, and so much so that we are also exporting a lot of defense equipment. There has been a record exports of defense equipment. In fact, we saw the importance of this in Operation Sindoor. A lot of that equipment, including BrahMos missile, drone technology, etc., was all made in India, and I would also like to point out designed in India. And in this, not only the large, government organizations like DRDO and all played a key role. A lot of the startups played a key role in the in the drone technology. Startups based in Bengaluru and Pune had some key technology that helped us in Operation Sindoor. So this is becoming very important. Also, if you see, there is a huge push in semiconductors. Honorable Prime Minister recently unveiled our first chips that were manufactured in India. And he said that, this is the new gold. I think in his speech, he mentioned that semiconductor chips are the new gold. And we all know that there is a big, tussle globally to corner the semiconductor market. And now we are pushing hard to manufacture all this in India. There is a huge push for new technologies like artificial intelligence. So this is going to be play a very, very key role for Viksit Bharat as well as Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Yes, you are absolutely right in that context that whatever I know about economics, a little bit I whatever read, correct, that to become a kind of a developed nation, okay, or an economic powerhouse, you have to have manufacturing capability. Without manufacturing capability at the uh, goods level, in terms of like a normal consumable, also at the high end technology goods level, it will not be possible for Bharat to become that. So you have to become a manufacturing capacity like China, maybe not as much as China, but at least we need to have that capability to actually produce our own products and consumables which are consumed by Bharatiyas themselves. So without that, that is not possible. And that's why I think PM Modi has done a lot of focus work to make this Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat as a kind of cornerstone of its initiatives, where he talks about in multiple speeches. And we have seen a lot of Rafales being built in Bharat, and also there is a also Tejas AMCA. AMCA is a new fighter aircraft which is going to be produced in India, and we already signed a deal with the French company to provide engines. So we have seen high level manufacturing is very important strategically, defense wise, and also as a capability to actually have that capacity to make it happen. So in that way, it is really important. So we are going to make it to segue. You mentioned in the chapter is called Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, and Sabka Prayas. So could you just explain to the audience and to me itself that what do you mean by these four statements or four words?
This is a statement, as you're aware, Bhupendraji, made by Honorable Prime Minister. What I find very interesting is, the idea initially was Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. This is what was his initial thing. That this was really the guiding philosophy of the Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP), as well as Honorable Prime Minister when he first phase of his government in 2014. So it was very clear that there would be a strategy by the government to ensure that there are schemes for development and benefit of all citizens. Very simply, it was Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. So it is not that, the idea was that the government would work for all citizens across, income levels to ensure that development reaches everyone. In this, I think, honestly, my observations, Bhupendra ji, was we had a two-pronged strategy, which was top-down as well as bottom-up. What I mean by this is that most development strategies, say a capitalistic strategy is top down, where you encourage industry business and then allow it to have a trickle down effect, because industry or business employs people, they get salary, which is income in their hands, and it trickles down into the economy, all the way down. A socialistic model would be, to, like you said, government provides everything, helps everybody, things like that. I think this government had an excellent both strategies. We are also today doing bottom up, right? We have the targeted schemes to benefit people, who need it most. So we've had the direct benefit transfers, which are very successful because money is now being given directly into the hands of people who need it without middlemen, without any leakage, etc. And this scale of what has happened is tremendous. If I'm not mistaken, by last, I think, data point, the DBT has transferred more than 48 lakh crore rupees to people. We have lifted 250 million people out of extreme poverty. Food grains are being given to 80 crore people. So I think India, with such a diverse population and with so much income and regional disparities, this has been very, important strategy when they came and said, "Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas." Along with that, the term was added, "Sabka Vishwas." That idea was also to, gain the trust of every citizen and have a connect with every citizen. So as I agree with you. Communication can always be better to explain the schemes. Even in the research of this book, kind of few schemes even I was unaware of. While researching it, I found it very interesting and educational myself. However, this Sabka Vishwas was added to explain that and also to push his own team. So I feel these terms used by Honorable Prime Minister are extremely important, not only to communicate to citizens his intention and the intention of the government of India. I think it is also to kind of communicate internally within the team that what our driving goals and philosophies are. So both ways I'm trying to say that Jan Vishwa, I mean Sabka Vishwas is that not only citizens should have that, but the government and the administration should understand that you have to gain the trust of every citizen by doing work in that manner and with that spirit. And finally, when Honorable Prime Minister added the term Sabka Prayas, to be honest, this was the most inspirational moment for me at least, because this is exactly what he's trying to say, that we can get to these goals again both ways by having the involvement and effort, prayas or effort by everybody. So, whether it's Swachh Bharat, like we spoke about, or anything. So, this, to be honest, Bhupendraji, when Honorable Prime Minister used the word Sabka Prayas, this really hit home with me. And I said, yes, I also want to come, support the government, support Honorable Prime Minister, and put in my own contribution for nation building. So, if you ask me, this book is also my Sabka Prayas.
Yes. So this also, the podcast is also part of that prayas to actually disseminate this information to the as many people as possible. Okay, through our podcast, so that people are aware of it, what's happening. So now we're going to come down to the last topic that we'll talk about, and that is education. Okay, the role of education in terms of reaching this goal, and specifically, I want to talk about three things: vocational education, entrepreneurship, and innovation. So, in your opinion, you also wrote about in the book as well that vocational education and entrepreneurship are going to play a very pivotal role in achieving this dream of Viksit Bharat. So, if you like to talk about this,
Yes, Bhupendraji, in fact, this is a very, very important topic because, as you know, India has one of the youngest, population demographics in the world. Our median age in India is 29. So we have a huge young population, a very young workforce as well. So education is fundamental to developing, Viksit Bharat, and to kind of empowering the next generation. So it's a huge demographic dividend, but also a huge challenge that we must see. to try and impart the best possible education to our young population. The government of India has done an excellent step with the new education policy NEP. There are a lot of critics as well, but I always tell that we are on the right direction. I always see trends as a business person. Things are not binary in the real world, right? It's not good or bad. If it's getting better, that's good. So, things can always improve, change, be added on, etc. But this is a great giant leap forward in terms of the new education policy, within which we have also talked about the Indic knowledge system, IKS. These are all very good steps in the right direction. Along with that, we have to impart 21st century skills to our graduates and our young workforce. And there is a lot of work being done with programs like Skill India. There is a lot of new initiatives, like you mentioned rightly, to do with vocational training, internships, all of that. So these are all the right steps to take us in the right direction. And everything will be scaled up, needs to be scaled up. Our population is large. We are in a hurry to get to our goals. So everything will be scaled up. You're seeing the number of, aside from private school, colleges, universities, even government of India, or all their top institutions, whether it's IIMs, IITs, etc., being built, across the country. So these are great steps and very important steps. Next you spoke about entrepreneurship. This is absolutely critical. As you are aware today, luckily with Startup India and other such schemes to promote startups and entrepreneurship, we have already become the world's third largest ecosystem for startups after the United States and China. It's a great achievement. Obviously, there's a lot more to be done, but things are very vibrant in the country. However, we need to, invest now more in research and development. India's spend on R&D as a percentage of GDP is just 0.65%. We should at least get to about 2%. I've elaborated on this in the book as well. And we need to push harder to, have R&D happening in deep technology, real technology. So these things will happen. Yes, these are all, it's a journey and we have to move there. However, for me personally, one thing I would like to tell you as well as your, viewers, is that innovation and tech is extremely critical because it brings about step changes and exponential impacts. Now, most as human beings, we are conditioned to think in a linear fashion, which is one, two, three, four. However, exponential means 2, 4, 8, 16. So, technology and innovation has the power to bring about this kind of exponential growth and a step change, literally like taking a step. So, mobile phone technology is provided as this. The digital public infrastructure in India, DPI, is providing us this. So similarly, if we do some great initiatives in, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, any of these new sunrise sectors and deep tech, the country can suddenly benefit from these big step changes, which even by that mathematics we spoke about earlier, can't compute these things, right? Sudden changes will come which will give us boosts that we had not thought of or did not calculate. So that is why also innovation is critical. And again, like I had mentioned with the Make in India and PLI, these things today are, Honorable Prime Minister called even semiconductor chips the new gold. Similarly, these are the really the new technologies, the oil, the gold, whatever you want to call it, that we need to have developed in-house, again from a strategic point of view, considering geopolitical climate.
Yes, I think innovation, in my perspective, entrepreneurship is the most critical part because, as we know, America became the world's biggest economy because they celebrate their own entrepreneurs. Correct? Every small business with a one employee is contributing to the US economy itself. The entrepreneurship is definitely the critical part which will make sure that Bharat becomes Viksit Bharat by 2047. And innovation is probably the most undervalued skill or the sector that we don't talk about. But innovation is something which is going to make sure that those shocks, when those shocks come in, we'll be able to manage it. Whether we can compound the growth, or if something geopolitically happens where the economic growth comes down, then innovation will play a part to actually where we'll be able to absorb the shock itself. So in that way, vocational training and innovation are the two most important parts played by the common people like us and a lot of other people who will be able to contribute to this vision of PM Modi. So I think I am done with my questions. If you have any message for the audience who are watching this, please share it with us.
Thank you, Bhupendra ji. This was really insightful and interesting for me as well, very engaging. I think just again, I'll repeat this because it is something very close to my heart and one of the primary reasons for writing this book that I encourage everyone, to read this book, understand what's happening in the country, get a sense of pride in our country, develop this concept of self-confidence. In the book, I've mentioned something called everything is possible confidence. In Bharat is developing this self-confidence. We are lifting 250 million people out of poverty, extreme poverty, but also we have landed the Chandrayaan 3 on the south pole of the moon. We are soon launching our Gaganyaan mission. So everything is happening in India, in Bharat. Come join, do something for nation building, get this self confidence and pride in our country. And in the end, I would just like to end with one of my favorite quotations by Honorable Prime Minister, which is यही समय है सही समय है भारत का अनमोल समय है. Thank you.
जी,
धन्यवाद.
जी, thank you very much for your time. It was really wonderful talking to you. I learned a lot from you as well. So I would request everybody who would be watching this program, please go ahead, buy this book. If you want to, I would say as a like a selling point, MSP. Okay, if you want to feel proud about being a Bharatiya, you will read this book and you will feel much better that what you have achieved in all these years. So thank you again for coming. So Jai Shri Ram, Vande Mataram.
Thank you. धन्यवाद.